Hello, hello, beautiful, colorful people. This is episode 1 of Pop of Color Live, a late night talk show for the music industry. So excited to be here. This is the first night. If you're watching live, thank you so much for being here. If you're tuning into the rerun, that's awesome. I'm so happy you're here. My name is Clara Charron. I teach the music industry in colorful ways for fun, bubbly bands and artists. Basically, I do presentations and I do workshops and I teach it in a dynamic, bubbly, friendly, down-to-earth way so that artist to artist, we can go on this ride that is the music business. Hello, this is Her Royal Majesty Louise, and she'll be popping in and out of the video from time to time as I am in the studio, which is also her room. Oh, and my room too. So, we're going to start with the news of the week. So these are things I can't quite get down in my weekly articles because everything moves so fast in our industry. You know that for sure. So our top story this week has been that the streaming giant Spotify has filed for an IPO on the New York Stock Exchange. They're going to go public. They value themselves at $1 billion. That's with a B. B, like Beyonce, whose latest album Lemonade is still not available on Spotify. In their F1 registration form with the US government, which I will link below, Spotify reveals that they plan to continue to invest in artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities, enter new geographical territories with local creators and getting the rights to popular local content, develop analytics for their ad partners, which is interesting because that basically admits that they don't have analytics given to their ad partners, and expand into podcasts and spoken word to take a share out of the market, out of the radio market. And one more, provide more ways for artists to connect with fans. These are all their quotes from their document they submitted for the stock exchange filing. I'm going to link it below, and they'll be on the rerun when I put this video with all the links below. Now, if you're an artist with music on Spotify, you probably haven't made much in royalties. Well, Spotify hasn't made any money either. At this point, they're operating at a $460 million deficit, according to 2017's financial records that they filed. So my question is, how are they going to convince Wall Street to invest in them if they have yet to turn a profit? And what does that mean for us at the bottom of the totem pole holding out a bucket trying to collect fractions of pennies? This is especially true when the report of BuzzAngle Music says that 99% of digital music streams in the US last year were for the top 10% most popular songs. Okay, news piece number 2. Looking up north to Canada. Hi everyone. Hi Canada. The federal budget for 2018 was announced last week, with the Liberal government pledging to invest money to reform and update Canada's copyright and intellectual property laws, getting up to speed with digital advances in everyday music consumption, such as YouTube and digital streaming services, which weren't as big a household thing when the last update was for copyright. Music Canada, whose research my article on this subject was based off of, applaud the Liberal government taking active steps to close these loopholes so that creators can be fairly paid. Speaking of loopholes, 213 American artists and international have put their names on a petition for the American Congress to pass a Classics Act. That's what it's named to get fairly paid of royalties used from digital music services for songs recorded pre the 15th of February, 1972. So I'm going to also link it, but you've got 213 artists or their states who have put their names down. So you've got the typical states, which so Frank Sinatra, George Harrison, Hank Williams, Nat King Cole, Miles Davis, Otis Redding, the Johnny Cash and June Carter, as well as their real living daughter Roseanne. They all put their names down, which makes sense because they're all descended from artists or who have legacies to protect. Then you've got the old legends kind of artists. So you've got like Bruce Cockburn, National Treasure, Dionne Warwick, Dolly Parton, Neil Young, Paul Simon, Toto, Africa. He's a meme for us, so let's make sure he's fairly paid. So that makes sense. But what struck me as really interesting about this was that some of the artists who are signing this have current hits on the radio or charted recently. They aren't exactly old legends trying to protect their legacy. See, there's like CeeLo, Jason Isbell, he released an album this past year. Lindsey Sterling, who does the electronic violin stuff. Mark Ronson from Uptown Funk. Esperanza Spalding, she won Best New Artist at the Grammys a few years back. Fitz and the Tantrums, they had a top 10 hit last year, the year before. Sorry, top 100. They had a indie pop top 100, the hand clap song. And so I thought it was really interesting that they also see the value in preserving legacy and culture by showing that it's valued, especially when it forms the popular music and everything going forward. And I thought that was really, really cool with what they're doing there. So that's the news for the week that I'm doing. Other special mentions go to the Oscars, which were last night. Coco won Remember Me, the ballad from the movie Coco, which was Disney and Pixar's animated feature, won Best Original Song. Yay! And now we're going to go to the workshop. So I got my news done and workshop time. You should have received one of these in your email on the 1st of the month. If you haven't, sign up for my newsletter. Hang on, gonna pop the link in here to get that worksheet, just so you can follow along. It'll be fine for you to follow along just in case if you can't, but if you don't have it right now, but it will get sent to you in an email automatically if you sign up. If not, pull it out from the PDF and we're gonna go with this. This is what it looks like, and this is mine. So this is a workshop I have presented at a music school for one and at a trade show, but I thought it would be really cool to bring it to life in a Facebook Live. So let's start. First one, your name or logo. Oh, pretty simple. This is the easy fun part. And then write that down, your name, your brand or brand. So there are some of you who are independent artists, some of you who own your own music businesses, some of you who are starting as solopreneurs or just trying to personal brand yourselves and you're not sure where you're going yet. This works. It's not just music, but I come from the music industry background, so that's what I'm working with. So the next box is what you do and who you're for. So luckily for me, it's my tagline: music industry discussions, interviews, and industry insights for colorful bands and artists. But for you, it can be as simple as just bullet point 2-3 things: what you do, what kind of music you play, what you offer, and then who you're for. Who do you serve? Who is your target demographic? Like, are you aiming for people just like you? Are you aiming for a specific share of the market that can be measured, that can be drawn out, like your ideal customer with age, gender, income, what kind of car they drive? There you go. You guys do that one. The next one you can come back. This video will be on replay, so if I'm moving too fast for you, that's all right. Right? I'm just really happy. Okay. Color and texture palette. So this is what mine looks like. So you've got the big squares are where you put the colors, and in the little boxes, this is where you can put the names of them if you know their color code for hex. So for example, my turquoise that I used here, which is the same on my logo, is hex 5FFFFC. So if I plug that into Photoshop, into Canva, into any graphic design software, any color finding software, even Microsoft Word, Apple Pages, it's going to show up at the same color, so I don't have to scroll through the color combos or try to drag it across the spectrum to get that perfect turquoise. I know what I'm looking for. If you have textures, gold glitter is a thing for me. For me, I've got turquoise and gold earrings. I have golden unicorn mug. I put that down. I like the marble texture. I use that on my business cards. I have turquoise marble business cards, so that would be what I use for my color palette. If you know what you're looking for, if you know what you have, write it down. If you don't, it's good to have general ideas. One thing I do is, when I do this presentation live, is I bring color swatches from a paint store. So so you can do it yourself, DIY. Go to a home improvement store, look at the 1,000,001 paint swatch options on the wall, pull out the ones you're attracted to right away, like, oh, that's pretty, and just start looking at different options, looking at what looks nice together, what doesn't look nice together, what really makes you feel like, yeah, that makes me feel good, and that makes me feel like this is who I am and what I want to say to the world. So the next category we cover is called personality and tone. So for me, it's pretty simple when it comes to my blog writing. This is how I want to get my personality across, get my tone across. But it also applies to talking on social media, from your tweets to Facebook posts to Instagram captions, to if you're a performing artist, how you speak in between songs, because hopefully you're also rehearsing what you say in between songs. You're not just working on a perfectly practiced, say, a singer-songwriter piece, and then afterwards you just hope you'll say something amazing in between to lead on to the next piece. Yeah, so I found a great way to do this is to see it as a spectrum of a personality trait. So you put the good part of it, the best part of it, on the first one, the left hand, the but not, and then you'll have of the too far in the other direction that you don't want. So for example, mine is bubbly and friendly, but not avoiding serious subjects. See, clever and witty, but not pretentious. Funny, but not goofy. Kind, but not meek. Motivational, but not guru-like. Accessible, but not oversimplified. Get the idea? You can think on these. You don't have to fill it out right away if you've got the sheet. If you don't have the sheet, friendly reminder, sign up for my newsletter. I put the link in the comments. It will be automatically mailed to you during this video, so you can follow along or take notes, notebook, pen, do your thing. I think this video will be available for replay, where you're able to pause, rewind, fast forward in case you miss anything. I don't expect you to fill this out as fast as I'm going through it, because it does take a lot of soul searching to figure out who you are or who your brand is, what you stand for, and what you're trying to convey and present to the world. So the next three categories would be favorite fonts. This is more on the graphic design, but if you know the fonts you like to use, whether it be on your logo, so for example, Caution Script is my logo. Go Times New Roman, I like doing that one for my notes. I like doing that one. Helvetica, that's what I use for my blog posts, like the body of the posts. One thing I want to add with this one is I've really taken to liking Avenir lately, which is another sans serif, and I'm using that one. You know that if you don't know that one, if you don't know favorite fonts, let's just think about what you use for graphic design that you get to design. You don't get to control Facebook posts, so you don't need to put the font that Facebook uses, because that's their own thing. But if you have your own website, which you should, your business cards, what font did you choose when making something from scratch that you really like and really conveys you? It's a great idea to have a few of them, not just one. So maybe one of the fancy ones that comes from your logo, and then a couple clean ones that come on every Microsoft Word document. Or, you know, when you download Microsoft Word, you download Apple Pages, a word processing document, and these are the ones that come with it, so that when you're sending media to journalists, for example, when you're sending an EPK to journalists, you can keep the body something that's A, legible, B, won't get scrambled because they don't have that particular font downloaded. Next category is animal mascots. Different ways you can phrase this. Your Patronus, if you're also a Harry Potter fan. your spirit animal, kind of. These are kind of just, if your brand was an animal, what would it be? Certain of these have connotations. Certain of these are just, yes, it's natural. It doesn't have to be your favorite animal. You can have a pet hamster, but your brand is not anything like a hamster, if that makes any sense. So mine are unicorns and cats. Louise is in her box right now, but I have a water bottle right here that's cat mermaids, naturally. And the last category here is perfect places. And what this is if you're able to describe, it doesn't have to be a physical location like this coffee shop down the road at this corner and this corner. It's more like the atmosphere of the environment of somewhere you would want to be. Say, if you designed your own house, if you could design your dream house, say like a BuzzFeed quiz, design your luxurious dream house, what would the front look like? So for example, cozy and clean would be something. I like so this is something that comes across in my designs when it comes to like the user experience in the front end of my blog and also my business cards, but also how I convey myself. So I've got the clean and modern, but cozy and warm are also parts of that. So cozy and clean, warm and modern. So I like the clean lines, I like the fresh look, but I don't want that to come at the expense of seeming inhuman and robotic and sterile, if that makes any sense. Then, so you can think about that you don't have to fill them out all at once, but I've got the sheet. You should have it in your email. If not, my newsletter link is right there. It will send to you automatically before this video is even over. All right, so flip the page over. I left a social media sizing guide for you. So you got the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I left a blank one for what works for you. If you use this particular social media frequently, that you need to remember. So say Snapchat. And Snapchat's more spur of the moment, but things where you have to prepare and have a particular size, this would work. My fourth one is the headers for my blog post, the little design graphics that say the title but in big in colors. And the second half of that big chunk block is writing conventions and styles. So you may not think about this, but if you were to hire down the road an agent, a manager, a media company, a social media coordinators, or even your own private branding consultant, and you would want them to know how you express yourself, right? So everyone's on the same page. Say your writing conventions and styles should be listed so well that someone could pose as you. So say your manager, if your manager had to do a Facebook announcement for you, they could be you because they're spelling like you and they're capitalizing using punctuation like you, if that makes any sense. So mine, for example, I write in Canadian English. I write that there. If you write in American English, you might want to put that there. British English. There's different spelling. So that's why Pop of Color has a U. Canadian English. I use first person, conjugation and grammar. I talk in the first person. I know, unless I'm writing my formal bio, it's not Clara is having a show this weekend. It's I'm having a show this weekend. Proper capitalization. The Oxford comma reigns supreme with me. Hooray for the Oxford comma. And emojis are welcome, but only at the end of a well-defined paragraph. I'm not going to do emojis after every word, but I use them to break up the text if they're relevant. There's lots of options with those. So if you already know these, that's great. If not, take a scroll through your Facebook feed, your Twitter feed, and take a look at what language rules you use, what grammar rules you use. Are you someone who capitalizes every other word? Or like Jaden Smith, are you someone who writes in all lowercase as a style choice? Please write that down there. Write that down there. It's a great rule. This is a style guide in the sense of you will know this is the guide for your style, your branding. Okay. The next box is what pieces of clothing or accessories would you wear to perfectly describe or perfectly express your brand? So I'm trying to stay away from the boring marketing questions that a lot of these agencies ask, because because we're artists first. Marketing may not come naturally to us. It came naturally to me, but business is not necessarily our main thing. Our main thing is being artists. So say wearing things on stage. If you pay attention to what you wear on stage, you don't just roll out of bed and go up and play a show. What do you choose? What do you choose? They don't have to be, it doesn't have to be things you already have in your closet. I mean, mine are all yes, but like if you were going to go up on stage to accept your first Grammy, what would you wear? Where is that something that matters to you? How about networking at a conference? That's how about if you were going to audition on a reality TV singing show, you were going to audition for The Voice, and this was your big shot to be on TV in front of millions? And what would you wear? So say I got a sparkly turquoise gown. Yes, that was my prom dress, and I intend on wearing that when I win a Grammy or something. Unicorn charm bracelets, dress suits in interesting colors, bright floral leather boots, gold sparkly shoes. This is my kind of thing. If you've got something, if you do all black, that close fit, if you leather's your thing, and maybe even makeup looks. Do you do strong cat eyes? Do you do bright lipstick in different colors? Do you wear a lot of jewelry? Are you a silver, gold, rose gold, bronze kind of person? That would be something you would write down. Are you into logos? Adverse to logos? Are you the type of person who wears a big logo on their t-shirt for a brand that's not something you started? Yes, no. What brands do you support? But it's like moral rights in the sync world. What brands are you willing to support with a big logo? Your friends' bands? Coca-Cola? Anyone who gives you a free t-shirt? Or when you go up on stage, it's not just regular you when you're in the grocery store. This is you when you're on representing your business, your brand, your music industry, your company, whether it be a small artist service company or a band. This is who you are when you're presenting yourself and convincing and trying to sell your music or what you do in the music business. The last question to fill out, well, there's two, but this is the last fun one, is what household items do you already own that perfectly capture your brand? So if you were, so the last one with piece of clothing, you can get imaginary. You can design your perfect Grammys dress or the most epic pair of leather boots ever. But these are things you already own. So take a look around. Like if I take a look around my room right now, what household items have you had over the years? So it doesn't have to be things like business card holders or anything business-wise, or your guitar. But over the years, whether it be souvenirs from someplace or things with good memories or things you picked up as a kid, say your favorite toy, that you're like, yeah, that is exactly how I turned out and how I express myself perfectly now. So for example, this is a tea mug in the shape of a unicorn. Or no, this is something I own that perfectly just expresses my brand. Got a sparkly gold business card holder. I have a shiny rose gold pen with a giant crystal perched on top. I've got a makeup brush in the shape of a mermaid's tail. These are things I have that aren't necessarily music business related or business related or that I bring out every day. I mean, I brought this out for this because I don't usually have an occasion to, but this makes sense. And it's what you have that already makes sense and already is who you are. The last question, and you should put down, is in the case of style emergency, who can you call? Who knows you better and who can take a step back? So whether it be your mom or a mentor or someone or your best friend who has a really good eye for colors or style, who can you call when you're not sure about whether something is your brand or not? What is something and who knows you? It can be a business partner. It can be, if you want to ask a question, then question and get honest feedback, get critical feedback by someone who knows you so well, they can hit the nail right on the head. Fill in their name right there so you never have a branding style emergency again. So speaking of questions, since we're doing great for time, I'm so happy because this is the premiere. If you've got any questions, because I want to add a Q&A segment. This is the first week, so I didn't expect anyone to have any ready. But if you have any questions I can try to answer when I do the news segment in the next show, please pop them in the comments below. So my name is Clara Charron. I teach the music industry in bright and colorful ways. I'm going to link all the news sources I put below. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. I've got a new article on my blog, popofcolormusic.com, that should be coming out Thursday or Friday. Stay colorful, folks. Bye!